Hey guys, Jason here, and today we are going to be looking at Phelios on the Sega Genesis. This is actually one of my favorite games on the Sega Genesis. Now, I don't have too many Sega Genesis games, but this is definitely my favorite of the ones I have, and it's actually my favorite shmup in general, and that's because it's actually not too difficult. It's got just the right balance of difficulty. Most shmups can be pretty brutal at times, but this one seems to be perfectly balanced, at least for me. And I just enjoy playing it. I really like the theme too. Like, I get a little burnt out on like the spaceship, robots and stuff like that. And this is like Greek mythology, so I mean, you ride a Pegasus, so that's pretty badass. And then you're fighting like dragons and Medusa and stuff like that. So I really like the theme. I like the music. I like the graphics, and it's a Namco game, so, Namco makes great games. And it was one of those games I saw at FuncoLand. I actually bought this at FuncoLand way back in the day. They had it on demo, and because I guess at the time, you could just tell the employees, hey, I want to try this game out, and then they would plug it in the machine, and then you could play it. Well, this was from someone who had previously played this game, and they left it in the machine. And I saw it playing, and I tried it, and I was like, this is great, I love this. And it had those anime cutscenes or whatever that take up the full screen. And because back then with the 16-bit games, you had pretty small sprites. And I just went from the NES to the Genesis, so I was already pretty impressed with a lot of the graphics and stuff at the time. And yeah, it had those really cool cutscenes and stuff, and you don't normally see that too often. And so yeah, I was just really impressed by this game. Had a lot of fun with it, and I actually ended up getting pretty good at it. So it's still one of my favorites. I like to come back and play it every now and then. But let's go ahead and take a look at Phelios on the Sega Genesis. Look at that majestic creature. Alright, so when you start the game, it'll ask if you want to play on Novice or Advanced. I recommend starting on Advanced because, like I said, the game isn't as brutal as most shooters, and you can only play the first 4 levels on Novice anyway, where Advanced lets you play through the whole game. Trust me, you'll have plenty of time to get good at those first 4 levels while playing on Advanced. I'll be giving you basic tips to get you started, and tips on all of the challenging areas of the game. In Phelios, there aren't a lot of power-ups. You can acquire up to 2 options and 2 speed boosts in addition to a limited use main weapon power-up. Speed up and options are regularly handed out at checkpoints, so if you lose a life, you'll come back to a few power-ups right away. This is great because dying won't leave you too vulnerable. There's a single fire button, which will fire small shots when tapped, or bigger shots when held to charge. For most of the game, you'll want to use the charged shots. You'll really only use the small shots when there are lots of one-hit creatures on the screen. Your first main weapon power-up will be this beam shot. You'll want to use it to kill the red dragons. Use it a little sparingly because if you hold the button down, you won't have enough left to kill all the dragons before the end of the level. Our first boss battle is Medusa. You'll want to stay at the very bottom of the screen and keep firing charged shots at her. Dodge to the side when she fires at you. You can see her shots bounce at a 45-degree angle, so you'll only need to move up from the bottom of the screen if she fires right next to the very edge of the screen, because it'll bounce off and head straight towards you. It doesn't happen to me here, but it can happen occasionally, so just be mindful of that. For some reason, I really like this music here.
I'm being held in the temple. Save me!
Not the best voice samples, but it is the Genesis after all. I don't know, I like it though. There's some charm to poor quality voice samples in retro games. I'm not sure why that is. Like when you hear the voices in Pole Position or Arcade Punch-Out, body blow, body blow. I don't know, there's just something to that. Oh yeah, and you hear that noise? I just earned an extra life. You can see in the lower right corner of my screen, there is the number 3. That's how many lives I have. Right below that is 2CH, which means we're on Chapter 2, and below that is my score. You'll receive an extra life every 50,000 points up to 400,000 points. After 400,000 points, you won't earn any more extra lives. Those 2 orange bars right beneath my sword, that's how many hits I can take before I die. And actually when you die, you start out with only 3 of them, even though there's 4 spaces listed there. And that 4th space is reserved for if you get a life up bonus, which gives you 1 extra life bar. And I believe there's only 1 spot in the entire game where you can earn one of those anyway. Unfortunately, your life doesn't reset once you make it to the next level. It'd be kind of nice if it did, but yeah, so you'll most likely lose at least 1 life while playing through this game. Almost every time you see these power-ups, it means you've hit a checkpoint. So then you kind of know if you die, you'll at least resume here. And this is one of our halfway bosses, like halfway through the level, and it's pretty easy. You'll want to use your charge shot to just destroy these guys, like make an opening so you can get off to the side and just dodge their fireballs. That's pretty much it. Man, I remember being impressed by this zooming feature here. It wasn't until we all experienced Mode 7 on the Super Nintendo before we realized that it's not really all that impressive. Here you'll pick up the cross power-up, which is pretty useful for this stage. It's like an angled bouncing projectile. Now you will have to watch out for the walls here, they will hurt you. Now here's the Chapter 2 boss room. Don't sit around and fight these little red alien guys for too long though, just quickly move up above them and you won't have to worry about dodging their attacks. Alright, so these guys, you will want to shoot their arms first. Watch out for their heads, like I just shot his head, and then it'll start coming after you. Once you get all their hands, then their heads will start coming after you, but you don't need to destroy the heads, they'll just reappear. What you want to hit is that glowing orb near the top of the screen. And you'll just kind of like just dodge their heads, like sort of lead them into the corner and then go around them and then just focus on shooting that orb. And there you can hear I earned another extra life. I hit 100,000. Chapter 3 is actually pretty short. It's got 3 parts to it. This first part is you'll have to shoot these red dragons, and then you'll have these floating heads coming at you. Just kind of stay towards the top of the screen and lure the heads close to you, then back up and kill them. The second part is this faster moving section, and you'll have to avoid the walls and shoot these guys as they come up. It's pretty simple. Alright, here is the third part. You'll know it's coming up when you see that message on the screen, and that means you'll have to move forward because the guys are going to start coming up from behind you. And now, rather than shooting them, you'll want to try to lure them into the wall. This takes a little bit of practice because they don't always quite move exactly how you think they might, and you have to avoid the walls as they're coming up and be closer to the top of the screen, which means you won't have as much visibility. If any of these guys pass you, just go ahead and fire your charge shot at them. So keep your shots charged at all times, just in case. Otherwise, it's a pretty short segment, and we're already at the boss. Alright, this boss is actually pretty challenging. You'll have to decide if you want to use your quick shot or your charge shots. If you use your quick shots, she'll be a lot easier because you'll be able to kill or destroy the feathers that come shooting at you pretty easily. If you use your charge shot, she'll die a lot sooner and won't take quite as many hits, but it'll be more difficult to destroy all the things flying at you. Also, you want to make sure that you destroy those skeletons before they have a chance to fire their axe. So if you see a skeleton appear to the side, like he is now, you might have to leave the boss alone for a second while you go destroy him. But yeah, she will take a lot of hits if you just use the quick shot. She actually takes a lot of hits if you use the charge shot too, so just stick with it and find a pattern and style that works for you.
I still remember. Vaguely.
Alright, for most of this level, you'll be dodging these floating heads and then the firebirds, all while you're trying to kill these dragons that are shooting flames at you. This is the fire level, and when you start seeing the bees coming out while the firebirds are coming at you, occasionally there'll be bees coming at you from the side. Be sure to kill those guys like right away because they will swirl around and get in your way. So when you start seeing the bees, be sure to destroy them as soon as you can. When you get to land, you'll see these crazy demon heads coming out of the ground. You'll want to destroy those guys as soon as you can too. They will take 2 charged shots. A little bit difficult to kill, but yeah, you want to take care of them as soon as you can. Otherwise, they'll be shooting fire at you from all directions. You don't want to have too many of those guys on the screen at once, or it could be a little overwhelming. Alright, so this boss is actually really easy once you understand how he works. As long as you're off to the side here, you're totally safe. In fact, you can use this spot to get some extra lives because shooting these arms that come out award you with 1,000 points each. So for every 50 you kill, you'll earn an extra life, up to, of course, 400,000 points, where you won't earn any more extra lives. But if you ever need to take a break on this boss, just go off to the side here and just fire to destroy those hands. You won't have to do any dodging or anything. So you can see he's shooting these fireballs at us, and actually he only shoots when you're shooting. So if you do a charge shot, he'll shoot like a burst of fireballs, just a quick burst of fireballs. If you're shooting a whole bunch of little ones, he'll shoot a whole bunch of little ones just scattered out everywhere. So really, the best strategy for him is to use your charge shot. Whenever you're ready to fire on him, just stop shooting for a little bit, charge up your shot, go in, fire at him, and then go back to the side again. Pretty simple, actually, and it's a great way to earn a few extra lives here.
Listen, Apollo, please.
On this level, you'll have to avoid these large spiked boulders in addition to the regular enemies, but you can use your charged attack to destroy them. This actually isn't too bad, but later on in the level there will be red boulders, and these ones will explode on impact, so you'll have to dodge the fragments. This boss isn't too bad as long as you know what to do. First you'll want to start destroying these heads immediately, like as soon as they appear on the screen, because you'll want to create an opening. The heads will like keep rotating around and they will expand and contract, and so you'll need to be able to slip through when they expand and contract. So the more heads you can get destroyed in a group, the better, because it'll make a bigger opening. So this boss just gets easier and easier as you continue to destroy the heads. But yeah, the important thing is to try to make a big enough opening right away, like as soon as you can, and that's pretty much it for this boss. It's, you know, dodge the icicles that come along the sides, and then destroy all the heads. It's pretty much it.
Apollo.
So this level starts off easy enough. You'll just have a lot of these little enemies that you can hit with your quick shot. You'll have to pay special attention to these green trolls. As soon as they appear on your screen, you'll want to hit them with a charged shot, which will knock them off their pillar. And you want to do this as soon as you can before they start throwing boulders. And once they do start throwing boulders, you'll want to time your shot so that your shot doesn't actually hit their boulder. Otherwise, it'll block some of the power. This boss is actually not too difficult to defeat, but he can be pretty time consuming if you do it right. Basically what happens here is he's got 3 heads, and you'll want to destroy all 3 of them. You're completely safe in the very middle bottom part of the screen, because none of the heads can reach you in the very middle bottom. So just keep that in mind if you need to take a break, or you just need to be safe for a few minutes. The very bottom middle of the screen is totally safe. And he doesn't fire at you at this yet, so you don't have to worry about that yet either. So basically each of the heads will take a certain number of hits before they will be destroyed, and once they're destroyed, they will turn into like a fireball that bounces around the screen, shooting little fireballs. So once you destroy one of the heads, it starts to get harder. So what you want to do is equally damage all the heads. Just spread out the damage evenly, so that way you can destroy all 3 heads around the same time, and then you don't have to worry about the fireballs bouncing around and worrying about dodging those. Once you've destroyed all 3 heads, then the fireball looking things will start opening their eyes, and 1 charge shot each will be enough to destroy them.
Get the light there, do it.
Alright, so this is the final level, and you'll need to use your charge shot to clear a path through most of this level. Once you hit these hands with a quick shot, they will split up into a whole bunch of little hands that you'll need to destroy. If you just hit them with a single charge shot, it'll destroy them completely. You don't have to worry about it. For this section, these balls are going to be rolling down from the sides, and you'll want to clear a path for them to just fall down on the sides so that you can just go straight up through the middle. I didn't do that so well, but you'll also be collecting all of the letters in the word Phelios to power up your sword, and they're hidden in some of these golden orbs. So just be sure to destroy all the golden orbs and collect all of the letters to spell Phelios, and that'll power up your sword. Alright, once we get this S, then we're fully powered up, and our charge shot now makes this level extremely easy. You can just blast through everything. Just completely clear a path and all the enemies. It'll be very easy to get to the end now. Alright, the boss actually isn't too bad. You'll be using your charge shot on him all the time. That'll be able to cut through these projectiles he's shooting at you, and it'll be able to hit him pretty good. When he folds his wings up like this, just be careful not to be directly under him, because he could potentially shoot a laser beam straight down. It could be off to the side a little bit, but if you're just off to the side of the center just by a little bit, it'll be enough to dodge any direction he may be shooting in. So see how I move a little bit to the side? His laser beam won't be able to hit me there. Now, the more you hit him, the more you damage him, the closer he'll get to you. You can see I'm just kind of like, my sword tip is kind of near his feet right now, but the more damage I do to him, the closer he gets. And eventually, he's going to get his crotch like right up in your business, and he's going to start dealing damage to you just by being so close to you. So once he gets to that point where his crotch is like just right in your face, you'll need to start swinging around to kind of lure him up towards the top of the screen before hitting him again.
A pearl.
Alright guys, well that was Phelios on the Sega Genesis, and I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. If you have a Genesis, go ahead and pick it up. You know, it's not as difficult as other shmups, and honestly, once you get the hang of it, you could go right through the whole game in a pretty short period of time. But you know what? It's actually perfect for a retro game, you know, because you don't want to be sitting here and playing these games for like 60 hours, you know. It's not like a massive role-playing game or anything like that. It's just a fun game to go through. And actually, you know, I beat this before and I beat it again, and it's a lot of fun to just kind of play through every once in a while. So anyway, that's it guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.